This is why your home is not selling, or your friend's house, or your neighbor's house, or your sibling's house, or just that house down your street. It all comes down to three specific factors. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this from Toronto, from Niagara, from Calgary, from somewhere in the States, really anywhere in the world, we can always go back to three specific things that we look at in any single housing market. There is a ton of emotion that is tied to the real estate selling or buying process. And I'm an active real estate agent. I have listings on the market right now that haven't sold. So you could say, well, Tom, if you know exactly what to do, how come you haven't sold everything yet? And the reason why is because there's knowing what to do versus doing what you know. And I think there's obviously going to be a gap there. And even if I tell clients exactly what they should do, they might not want to. It's not my property. But in today's video, I'm going to explain things as if it was my house. My name's Tom Storey. I'm a real estate agent in the city of Toronto. And if you like this video or learn anything new, make sure to give it a like and also get subscribed to the channel. We are nearing 20,000 subscribers. If you're someone in the city of Toronto looking to buy or sell, you can book a call with our team in the first link in the description. There's an old saying in real estate called the 3 Ps, and you may have heard that before. It is property, it is presentation, and it is price. And although I do agree with it, there's a lot of nuance to it, and I feel like there's subcategories in all the different Ps. So I'm going to go through each P. We're going to start with property, then we're going to go to presentation, then we're going to go to price. I'm going to show you everything that I know from my years of experience as to why a home has not sold yet. This is the criteria that every seller should be thinking about, whether you have a home on the market right now or not. If you're just thinking of selling in the next 12 months, this is what you should be focused on. Let's start with the first P, which is property. And property, I think, has at least 4 subcategories. The first subcategory is location. Location, location, location. You've heard that before. We can kind of just skip over it. Is it located near all the other homes that you're comparing yourself to? Is it in the same school district compared to all the other homes? There's all these little factors that are really important. The second subcategory is type of property. Is it a condo? Is it a house? Is it a detached house? Is it a semi-detached house? Is it an attached row townhouse, right? There's all these different things it could possibly be. And once you know your property type, then you would go down even further and go, okay, how many bedrooms are there? How many bathrooms are there? What are the interior finishes? I have a full video I can link below on this side of things. But the second subcategory would be, well, what type of property is it? The third subcategory would be occupancy status of this property. Do you own this as an investment and there's currently a tenant living there? And if a tenant is living there, are they on month-to-month terms? Are they still in their 1-year lease agreement? Is it owner-occupied? Is it vacant? All these things need to be considered when you're comparing yourself to other homes on the market or properties that have sold in the last 3 months. And the fourth subcategory, which may be the most important here, is what are the current market conditions for your property type? So this is why it's so important, because condos can be so much different than homes. And for those market conditions, there's a few things that you would want to know. The first one, the most important, months of inventory. If you watch this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Months of inventory is the absolute best metric to understand what could happen in the future for housing prices. Months of inventory at the end of a month, you're looking in your specific area for your specific property type, how many active listings are on the market divided by how many actually sold in that roughly 30-day period. That will give you a number. Anything under 3 is a seller's market. From 4 to 6 is balanced, and 6+ is a buyer's market. How long you stay in a certain level of inventory will kind of give us a general trend of where prices could go. The second thing you're going to want to look at is days on market. Now, I find a lot of people get confused about days on market because when I sit down with the seller, they'll typically ask me, well, how long do you think this will take to sell? And what I always try to get across with days on market is days on market only tracks the properties that actually sold. That's why that number is so important. Because if a home is overpriced, has been sitting on the market for 150 days, there's never a days on market because it didn't successfully ever sell. So days on market only tracks the properties that actually sold successfully. So that number, whatever it is for your area, maybe it's 15, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 45, maybe it's even higher. What that's telling you is that if you are priced correctly in today's market conditions, you should be sold in that amount of time. Now, it is an average, it's not an exact number, so it could be a little bit before, a little bit after, but it gives you a general rule where if you cross a certain amount of days on market without real traction or an offer, it means the current group of buyers are not responding to your price. And that takes us to the final subcategory of a subcategory, which is list price versus sale price. So if you take a look at the homes in your area that have recently sold, it will show you what percentage of the asking price did they get. If on average it's 98%, well, that means that, you know, for the homes that successfully sold in that certain amount of time we talked about for days on market, they on average got 2% under the asking price. Now, keep in mind that list versus sale price numbers is based on the last asking price. So if a home was listed at $800,000, then it changed its price to $750,000, and then it sold for $725,000, that percentage you're seeing is based on the last asking, which would be $750,000, not the initial asking at $800,000. Okay, so we are done with the first P. Property P is done. Let's go to P number 2, presentation. I also think presentation has 4 subcategories, and the first one is the staging of your home. Now, staging can mean different things. It can mean that you had professional stagers in and it's not your furniture at all. It can be working with the furniture that you already have. You don't even need professional staging. If you just have great stuff, well, the presentation of your home is going to be great. If you have a vacant property, well, does virtually staging it at something that you want to consider. So when people are seeing your property online, the first thing they're looking at is that first photo. And then once they see that first photo, their eyes trend to the price, and then they go back. If they agree with both, they'll continue to click through. So the presentation of your property is so important, because in a market that not everything is selling, the biggest factor, step number 1, is get someone to come see it in person. If we can't get them to come see it in person, they're never going to offer on it. Subcategory number 2 is curb appeal. Landscaping as a homeowner myself is something I didn't realize how much money it actually costs. Just as you're walking up to the home, do you feel like it's been cared for? Do you feel like the current owner that's living there has kept this in a really good condition? Because this is a home that you're spending a lot of money on and you're likely going to own for a long time. Third subcategory is the smell of the house. We talked about how we got to get people to the property to get them to the point that they'd actually like to make an offer on it, right? That's step number 1. No one wants to smell cat piss in a house. You know, like there are certain people that are looking for like homes that need a lot of renos because they think they can get them for a really low price and flip them. That's always going to exist. But smell can totally throw people off for a house. So that's just something to keep in mind in terms of presentation. Once they get there, they're going to smell what the house smells like. Make sure it smells good. And the last subcategory for presentation would be digital marketing. This is typically where the real estate agent is going to step in and take care of this. When a property goes onto MLS, it automatically goes to thousands of websites. And there's a few things that buyers are looking at. We call it the key photo. That is photo number 1 of the property. In some markets, you have to put the exterior of the house or the building. In other markets, you can choose whatever photo that you want. Just keep in mind, like that's going to be the first thing that potential buyer sees online. And with the digital marketing side of things, you got to think about it as target marketing. You got to sit down with your real estate agent and ask them, like, who's going to buy my house? Who is the typical buyer that is probably going to be the one that makes the offer? Once you know who that is, then you can specifically target those types of people. I've seen so many people over the years say like, you know, my real estate agent's going to get me 40,000 views on Facebook. Who cares? If it's not to the people that are actually the potential buyer for your property, it's just a vanity metric. So be really careful for all these vanity metrics and things like that, like targeted marketing, private viewings, people that come with their own real estate agent to show the property. That is your best bet to get an offer. Yes, open houses sometimes. I think the actual number is like 1 to 2%. That's actually where a buyer comes from. Private viewings. How can we target the people that might actually be interested in your property? There's many ways we can do this, and I can go into more in-depth in other videos. But don't get caught up in all these vanity metrics, how many views you got online. None of that matters. What matters is how many people came to see the property in person and did they make an offer? And if they didn't, they're not agreeing with something. Now let's move on to P number 3, price. Price is the most important thing. I don't care what anybody says. Price is always the most important thing in any single market condition that we can have. And price also has 3 subcategories. The first one is pricing strategy. And this all depends on what type of market conditions that you are in. If there's under 2 months of inventory, there's no homes for sale in your neighborhood, you could likely list the property at what we would call event pricing or offer date pricing, where it's below its real value. And the idea is get as many people through as possible, review all the offers on one single date, and pick the best price if you are happy with it. And that strategy in hot markets happens all the time. But there's also another strategy. In a more tame market, at least the market that I'm filming this video in, most people are pricing at a real price and leaving a little bit of room for negotiation. But you have to choose. That's the first thing for price. What strategy are you taking? Are you going low with an offer date? Which, although I totally understand people on the internet hate that as buyers, but the reality is it's worked a lot. And with people's actions, they're showing that it's working. Or are you going to list at a price and just say, hey, come and give it to me? Now we got the final two subcategories to wrap things up. And this is where real estate agents really come in. And the biggest thing in this market is someone telling you the reality of the market versus telling you what you want to hear. And I think that's a big thing as well. The second subcategory would be recently sold properties. When we go back to property type, the first thing that we talked about, are they actually comparable to yours? Do they have the same lot size? Is their basement the same ceiling height? Like there's all these different things we can go to really try to figure out how comparable is it really. But in a market where prices are not going up, the last sale doesn't mean that you're going to get that anymore, especially if it happened in a time when interest rates were way lower. Just think about the actual cost of money, right? There's a reason why housing prices have come down from peak prices in 2021 and 2022 for many different reasons. The major one is that interest rates are significantly higher than they previously were. In the final subcategory, and this is the most important in today's market, if you made it this far in this video and you have a home on your street that hasn't sold, or it's your property or friend's property, this is why. It's because you're not the best option on the market for buyers. That's just the easiest way to put this. What is your on-market competition? The phrasing that we are using is called positioned pricing. If we know that the market conditions are saying that 2 out of 10 properties, 20% of homes are selling every 30 days, are you in the category of those homes that could sell? And of course, it could be a pricing thing. It could be a presentation thing. It could just be a property type thing. But if you look at the active homes for sale in your area that other buyers would potentially look at, you have to ask yourself a very important question. Would you rebuy your own house at the price you have it listed? Or are there other homes for sale at maybe lower prices that are just as good that you would say, no, that's actually better value? That's what buyers are thinking as well. Now, I already know there's someone writing up a comment or getting ready to write a comment that says, yes, but the buyers don't know that my house is better because it has this or this or this. And all of that could be true, but it doesn't matter if they don't actually come to see it, right? And some of the renovations that people will do are personal renovations and not every buyer is going to care about. Some of the upgrades you've done to your house, you might hold value to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a buyer is going to hold value to it. Would you rebuy your own property knowing what you know versus other options available for sale in your neighborhood? I think that really sums this all up. So remember, property type, presentation, and price. The 3 Ps of real estate that have existed for a long, long time will continue to exist in any different marketplace. If you are making a selling decision in any real estate market really across the world, these are the things you have to focus on. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Tom Storey, and remember, home is where your story begins.